Hello, everyone. Thank you for being at the Pinal County Community College District Governing Board meeting of April 21st, 2026. And call to order. We'll show that all board members are here except for Evelyn Kasuga is excused. And please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sorry. Item number 3 is adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion to adopt?
So made.
Do I second? I have a motion and second to adopt the agenda. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Chair votes aye. Motion passes. Those opposed, no. Motion passes. And number 4, call to the public. And we have Mr. Steve Hessler. If you come up and to the mic and give us your name, address, and all that good stuff. And you got 3 minutes? 3 minutes.
Good afternoon, board members, administration, and community. I'm Steve Hetzler, 10299 East 2nd Water Trail in Gold Canyon. When I started to follow the budget a year ago, I didn't know what an arduous journey it would be. I commented at meetings and in emails that there was no evidence that there was more than 10 minutes of discussion or more than a 3-page summary of the budget. I'm pleased to see that we're making progress. When Ms. Elliott sat down with me last month for a discussion of my budget concerns, it was the first time anyone from the administration had done so. I shared a summary of what I would like to see addressed with the board, including the need for public comments and study sessions. The study session last week was not only informative, but at a length of an hour was already eliminated my complaint that they spent less than the 10 minutes I said they did last year. The supplemental information presented beyond the minimum 3-page requirement and the information in this meeting's packet shows that the district is moving in the right direction. While many of the issues brought up in my March memo to the board remain unanswered, the issues and information I saw in that study and increase in supplemental information gives me a sense that Mr. Quest has a grasp on the legitimate questions may be needed in the future and what's expected from a professional organization. I know there are legal deadlines for board and public discussions, but there's still time for the board to ask additional questions. I have some specific questions, but we'll save them for now. Hopefully this won't be another rubber stamp approval. Since the board has had access to the same meetings and documents I've had and the same time to study them, I look forward to see what issues they've gleaned from that information and their willingness to discuss those issues publicly when that agenda item is discussed later. And they can demonstrate the proper commitment, providing the necessary oversight required of a public institution. Since the budget is not a commitment to spend, after the adoption there will still be opportunities for discussion. After the budget process is complete and I've seen the audited annual comprehensive financial report, I'll continue my oversight function with additional questions and look forward to working with Mr. Quest and any other administrative and board members who show an interest in transparency and accountability. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next, number 4, we have number 5, consideration of consent agenda. So we have A through I. And would any member like anything pulled off? Sir.
E and H, please.
E and H. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the rest of the items?
So move.
Have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve consent agenda items A, B, C, D, F, G, I. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item E, awarding credit for prior learning policy. Dr. Ordeon.
This is very minor, but it should be right. The policy states that a student may earn up to 30 credits through national standardized examinations such as, and it gives us a list here of several. The last 2 items on that list are not national standardized exams. They are other things. So that introductory line might say something like national standardized exams and other methods, or those last 2 items could be separated off. And it's minor, it's technical, but it's just not right the way it is. So having said that and being comfortable that somebody will fix it, I would move to approve or accept this policy with those changes.
Yeah.
I'm looking to Dr. Parker to make those changes.
We will make those changes.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, we'll go ahead and vote on that item. All those in favor of approving item E and with the changes discussed, say aye.
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 Opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carries. Okay, let's go to number H, curriculum changes, new program, software development, AAS, cybersecurity, AAS. Dr. Odion.
Just a clarification, I'm not sure if this is something that fell through the cracks and we're cleaning it up, or if it's a typo. But the cybersecurity degree shows that it will start in fall of '22. We're in '26. Did we start it in '22 and not approve it at that time, or?
I'm going to ask Dr. Gilliland to come up, if you wouldn't mind. She has the history on these issues. I won't make Dr. Parker do it right away since you worked on it diligently.
So, good afternoon. Yes, Dr. Parker actually does have all the backstory now, but in brief, these were degrees that existed. They are not technically new degrees. They were sunset, and then they were revitalized to start again soon, but with slight modifications. And I will say that the modifications were so slight that we would not normally have had to put it through the Higher Learning Commission. They are just very minor. However, because of the other things that you're approving in the consent agenda with the recertification, now everything has to be separately approved, so, or at least looked at by the board. So it essentially is all existing courses with one new course.
Thank you. Sorry to call you out of
Both
retirement.
of them, both of them. No, thank you so much. This is the last bit of cleanup. Thank you.
Thank you. With that clarification, I would move to accept the curriculum proposal.
I second.
Motion is second to approve. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, now we go to number 6, discussion, approval, disapproval of the preliminary draft of the 2026-27 budget for publication. Dr. Terry Quest.
Minor adjustment there. Thank you for this opportunity. Governing Board President Lopez, Dr. Elliott, and esteemed board members, I appreciate the opportunity to share with you our 2027 budget, our proposed budget, or at this time it's our draft budget that you will review and move forward with on selecting for posting or advertising in the community. I want to review a little bit about the budget process as well. And though I came on a little later on in the process, I know that my staff has done a great job working with collaboratively throughout the district on various new processes that we shared in about 2 weeks ago in our budget workshop with the board on a capital review committee that was set up. The vice presidents reviewed various priorities related to the capital projects as well. And we also had a VP budget working session, 2 4-hour sessions that dived heavily into the budgeting process, which unfortunately I did not have the opportunity to be involved in. But I think those are great strides and movements towards the right way of sharing a little bit more about the budget. And our overall goal is to learn more about what the governing board would like from us to present, as well as your constituents, as we move forward in presenting more of a transparent budgeting process and a budget to the community. Now, the budget that is to be presented is the budget that the state requires of us. And there are 3 schedules, Schedule A, Schedule B, and Schedule C, which I am sure you're familiar with. But what I'd like to do is talk and highlight each one of those schedules a little bit. Now, I know that you received a very detailed packet from us, and that packet was focused on some of the feedback that we received during our budgeting workshop just a couple of weeks ago. And that took into consideration providing graphs, line charts, and those types of things that would also show a trend of about 5 years as well. And so we hope that was beneficial to you to look at it and understand a little bit more of the different areas of the budget. So going forward on Schedule A, my screen's a little smaller than yours. I'll look at different places, but there's some things I'd like to bring to you attention. First one would be, when you look at, there's about 5-6 sections in there. The first section I'll talk about is, an area is the unexpended plant fund. That, if you look at it closely, there was about a $24 million increase due to the construction of our Cultural and Performing Arts Center. Okay, so when we're comparing prior year to this year, we have about a $24 million increase. Also, on our retirement of indebtedness, there is about a 7.5% increase due to our debt service requirements related to our construction and the bonds that we do have. Also, our total expenditures increased about 24.1%. And this was overall due to mostly our plant fund. So the total includes that plant fund. And if you look closely, you'll notice that that plant fund had about 40% change from one year to the other year. And so the overall effect was about a 24.1% increase. And then the other area we wanted to bring out to your attention is that there's about 11% increase in personnel compensation. Now, this is due to the college making the decision, CAC making a decision to absorb our health costs so that we don't pass it on to employees as well, along with a 3% increase in staff and step increase to our faculty members as well. So one of the things I look at in this whole thing too is very important is the last section. As I mentioned, that's a little smaller for me, but is our property tax rates as well. So in the next slide, we put it into a graph here, this time a 5-year graph, looking at our property tax rates. And the important part of that is we technically are allowed to have a tax rate that can generate about $105 million in property taxes. We don't do that. We only generate about a little over $70 million or so on that, $70.8 million. So one of the important things to notice on this graph is over the 5 years, our property tax rate, particularly with our primary tax rate, it has decreased. So that's the goal here, is to, one, to be able to fund the organizational operations, which I always refer to as structurally balanced. Simple term is revenues exceed expenditures, and to stay structurally balanced in that sense, and also to have a contingency in place as well. And so our overall budget is designed to only meet about 94 to 95% of what we consider the expenditure limitation that the state of Arizona has said to us. Well, here's the amount you can spend up to, and we've chosen to do about 94, 95% of that. That difference is our contingency as well that we keep with us. And we use that as, for various reasons, situations that come up. If we had a budget that was for dollar to dollar, we would have some serious issues coming up if we experienced, I don't know, flood, different things that came our way as well. And so the idea is to have that contingency. Some call it rainy day fund. That's good because it doesn't rain, so we'll always have it. It's not going anywhere for us. The other part of that is our secondary tax rate is generally used for funding bonds. And that's typically a voter-required approval. We have a number of bonds that way. We did have a 29.8% increase in that, but that again is due to increases in our lease debt payments and our revenue bond acquisitions that we had going forward. But overall, if you look at the primary here, there's about a 2.2% decrease over 5 years for property taxes. So the idea is that homeowners, we're not here to increase our property tax rate. We're able to fund our whole process of the new cultural center and other construction projects basically by our reserves that we have. Going to Schedule B we refer to as resources, revenues, resources. The things I like to bring out in this particular one, because there's a lot of detail. And I know in the package you receive, you have a number of graphs behind there that helps visualize that. But the things I'd like to bring out is our current funds. As I kind of mentioned, we have over 66 million coming in, call it coming in, property taxes coming in. This is the biggest area of our restriction on our expenditure limitation. But our budget or our general operating expenditures is only $63 million. So again, that's our contingency that I discussed before as well, $3 or so million. Our plant funds, our unexpended plant funds is where we house all of our revenues for future construction. And they're restricted because they're focused on a specific project. Now, we have restricted funds that have to do with grants or donations. They have restrictions depending on what those rules and regulations are. And in this sense, we have another restrictions when it comes to capital funds as well. So, and we're working on it for the majority of the funds going towards our cultural center. We have other things going on as well, as I'm sure everyone's familiar with solar energy, demolishing some of our old buildings that collapsed, and so forth, those types of things as well. With all that said, our goal is to, and we have discussed prior to me here, is moving forward with revenue bonds, or bonds, that $30 million bonds, and we're moving forward with that. Part of that $30 million, $17 million is focused on refinancing bonds at a lower interest rate to save us tens of thousands of dollars. And the other $13 million is focused on specifically our new construction projects as well. We always say the CPAC, so that's the main place we're focused on there. This graph here kind of like visualizes it a little bit better. It's a longer time period, but the idea is that we always maintain at least a bare minimum of $20 million in our reserve. And over time, we build up that reserve to the point where, as you can see at the high point there, the mountain, whatever point, peak you want, that's the point where we have the largest amount of funds that we've saved over time to use for our construction projects. Why? Because then it puts less stress on our residents, community members, because we're not asking for an increase in our primary tax rate. We're not asking to go out for any kind of elections on bonds and those types of things as well. And so that our strategy is always to maintain at least around $20 million in there as well. And as I mentioned, this helps us avoid going out for GO bonds, or what we call general obligation bonds as well. The last, I won't say slide, but the last schedule, Schedule C, is expenditures and other outflows. And the overall expenditures you'll see at the bottom, which is, you might see it, is a little over 18.9%. So overall increase about 18.9% again. And we need to remember that this has to do with a lot of the expenditures related to our construction. Because if you dissect it and looked at it, we maintain our general obligation, our general operating expenditures usually the same. It doesn't go up and down. It's pretty much the same in that sense. Some of the highlights of that was to look at in here is under instruction. We increased from one fiscal to the other year about $395,000 increase. Again, that's due to salary and benefit impacts that we are experiencing or budget to experience. We have academic support. About $640,000 will be increased due to academic software and licensing fees as well. And then our operation and maintenance of plants will increase again about $944,000. And of course, that's related to increases in utilities and those types of things as well. The other part of that is just our capital budget. I just mentioned that we are increasing adding about $23.9 million more into our setting aside capital for our projects as well. And so, again, I come back to the CPAC, as we refer to, or our cultural center and performing arts there. I believe those are the main highlights for that section, or Schedule C, that I have to share today. I do not have any more graphs for those that were looking forward to it, but I have time for any questions or anything that you want to share, or if I don't know, I'll defer to someone else.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Anybody else?
Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you so much. It really helped when we heard all the presentation before.
Thank you.
so. All right, next we have,
We need a motion.
oh. Okay. Yes, I need a motion to approve publication of the budget.
So made.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have motion second to approve publication of the budget. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Approved. All right, thank you. Now we have number 7, discussion, approval, disapproval of granting emeritus status to Professor Mary Kaiser, correct?
Good afternoon, members of the board, President Elliott, colleagues and guests. I'm here today to ask that you grant emeritus status to Professor Mary Kaiser. Kaiser. Okay, Kaiser. I even rehearsed it and got it wrong, so what are you going to do? On behalf of the Literary Arts and Languages Division, we recommend granting faculty emeritus status to Professor Mary Kaiser in recognition of her outstanding service to Central Arizona College and its students. Since joining CAC full-time in 2006, Mary has taught a wide range of reading and developmental English courses and is known for her warmth, patience, and support for students, especially those who struggle in their reading and writing abilities. She helped develop open educational resources for 3 different courses, collaborated with colleagues to condense the developmental reading sequence, and create the college's integrated reading and writing course to improve student success. In addition to her teaching, she has served in numerous leadership and service roles, including interim division chair, lead faculty, assessment and program review coordinator, a trio faculty member, and the Newman Club advisor, just to name a few. Respected for her leadership and collaboration, and a recipient of the George Fidel Award for Teaching Excellence, Professor Kaiser has made a lasting impact on both students and faculty at the college. She will be truly missed, and we hope that this honor serves as a small token and testament of our respect and gratitude. And given that record, we ask that you grant Professor Kaiser emeritus status.
Absolutely. Board, what do you think? Think we should? Do I have a motion?
Let's do it. Yes.
All right, do I have a motion to approve? Motion, do I have a second? All right, we have motion and second to approve. Warmly, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I want to,
Congratulations. It's official.
and next we have number 8, discussion, approval, disapproval of granting emeritus status to Dr. Mary K. Gilliland. All right, so who is presenting that?
Good afternoon, Governing Board President Lopez, Governing Board members, Mary Lou, faculty, staff, and guests. It was my honor to nominate Dr. Gilliland for Vice President Emeritus status. She is one of the longest-serving vice presidents at Central Arizona College, 10 and a half years. Dr. Gilliland led many academic efforts such as Guided Pathways 1.0 and Guided Pathways 2.0. She led efforts for a Title V grant focused on guided pathways and efforts to strengthen student support services and to improve retention. Dr. Gilliland led efforts to reduce catalog listings that were no longer relevant or offered to students and presented a cleaner catalog for student choices. Dr. Gilliland led efforts to adopt CourseDog to update curriculum, processes, and to provide better alignment with the annual production of the college catalog. Dr. Gilliland helped lead the academic division through the pandemic in 2020, supporting faculty and chairs and deans through rapid transformation to primarily online education with some carefully planned in-person trainings in nursing, health careers, and CTE. Dr. Gilliland, along with Dean Tina Berry, took on supervising all of academics when 3 additional academic deans departed the college in 2021 and managed that extended supervision for a year while carrying out needs assessment for dean positions in the aftermath of the pandemic. Dr. Gilliland oversaw several reorganizations within the academic division to promote efficiency, and she represented Central Arizona College on many statewide efforts, such as serving on the steering committee for AZ Transfer, as co-chair of the executive committee of AZ Transfer, and also served on a task force to create an updated Arizona General Education Curriculum Certificate. Dr. Gilliland led efforts to move towards no-cost, low-cost materials for students, focused on open educational resources. She herself wrote material for an open educational resource textbook that was peer-reviewed by the American Anthropology Association, a nationally recognized scholarly organization. This text is out now nationally used widely. It's free to students, and it's in its 3rd edition. As a result of Dr. Gilliland's leadership and example, several divisions at the college have moved primarily to OER materials for all classes, including math, science, literary arts, and social and behavioral science. Dr. Gilliland has served fearlessly and tirelessly as the accreditation liaison for the Higher Learning Commission, has led the institution through the AQUIP systems portfolio, and more recently through the comprehensive reaccreditation visit, which resulted in reaffirmation of accreditation for the next 10 years. Dr. Gilliland helped lead and guide the college to establish its first bachelor's degree in elementary education and nursing. And Dr. Gilliland has led and guided the efforts to establish a Second Chance Pell program, originally under the Experimental Site Program through the Department of Education, and later fully accredited under HLC with the expanded locations including Winslow and Inman. Dr. Gilliland drafted our first academic master plan in 20 years, setting the stage for ongoing intentional planning for certificate and degree program development that will resonate with the needs of Pinal County. And Dr. Gilliland has modeled succession planning in helping prepare in advance for retirement materials for the new Vice President of Academics to ensure a smooth transition for the college. Dr. Gilliland has worked diligently to improve processes and communication within academics, to build positive relationships and make time to listen to her constituencies and colleagues. She cares deeply about the college, CAC, faculty, staff, and students. And Dr. Gilliland held the vision, mission, and values of Central Arizona College and kept them foremost in mind in all that she did. It is my honor to propose that the board bestow Vice President Emeritus status on Dr. Mary Kay Gilliland.
Great and awesome. Do you have any comments from the board or a motion?
So moved. Second.
I have motion and second to approve emeritus status to Mary Kay Gilliland. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Chair votes aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Got it. All right, now we'll move on to reports. Report from the college president, Dr. Jackie Elliott. A Higher Learning Commission visit.
I have a couple of updates from our Higher Learning Commission activities of late. We received the draft team report from the RN to BSN program site visit that was held last month. The team noted that in their report that they are recommending approval to the Institutional Actions Council, or IAC, and we should know the final decision in May or June. And it was a very complimentary report. So kudos to Mary Kay, Dean Barry, and our Director of Nursing. We also received the feedback from our HLC about our interim report that was due in March, where they noted the college has demonstrated progress in the areas of focus and that no other action or reports are required. So the college will have a mid-cycle review in December of 2027 and the next reaffirmation of accreditation visit in 2033, 2034. It's weird to say that. It's way out there. So I'm happy to answer any questions you might have about those two actions. Good news, positive news.
Any questions for the board from that
Just
great
a
news?
comment, very well done on all of that. Thank you.
Settled.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Then I can move on. Also, just another quick miscellaneous update. Demolition of the landscaping areas around the Pence will begin maybe next week or soon. So you might see some of that activity finally actually happening around the Pence Center. I have quite a few legislative updates. And the first one is House Bill 2050, and it has to do with radiologic technician programs. This will have an impact on our program. It modifies statutes governing the radiologic technology licensing for schools and individuals by expanding acceptable school accreditations, revised required coursework, changing required clinical hours, and aligning examination of content with national standards. This has been signed by the governor. House Bill 2086, vaccination mandates. It prohibits governmental entities from requiring residents to wear masks or face coverings except for long-standing workplace safety and infection control measures unrelated to COVID-19, prohibits governmental entities from requiring residents to receive any vaccination for any diseases or virus, and prohibits businesses from requiring masks or vaccinations as condition of entry into employment, subject to the same workplace exception. This actually has passed the House and is passed the Senate, but was returned to the House for committee. We've talked about this one before. House Bill 2240 is tuition waiver, children, veterans, and disabilities. Expands eligibility for tuition waiver scholarships to include children or dependents of a member or former member of the United States Armed Forces with a disability rating of 30% or more, as determined by the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs. Requires the Arizona Board of Regents and community college districts to provide tuition waivers to eligible children or dependents who meet age, felony, admission, and credit hour limits. This has passed the House Education Committee and it is now in budget discussion. House Bill 2255 is the Teachers Academy, expands the Arizona Teachers Academy scholarships for community college students to cover up to 4 academic years or 8 semesters instead of 2 academic years or 4 semesters. This has been signed by the governor. So we actually have the Teachers Academy, so this is good news for us. House Bill 2409 is artificial intelligence, establishes the Arizona Artificial Intelligence Education Program within the Arizona Department of Education to offer voluntary statewide summer course open to all Arizona residents, requires the Office of Economic Opportunity to develop the small business curriculum, identify volunteer instructors, and locate facilities for course delivery. Authorizes public schools, universities, and community colleges to award academic credit for course completion and allows public entities to provide facilities for uncompensated use. It has passed the House and it's awaiting Senate committee. House Bill 2805, electronic signatures, requires the Secretary of State to provide a secure online system for qualified electors to sign nomination petitions for candidates for school districts, career and technical education district, community college district. Also, and governing boards, allows eligible candidates to collect some or all nomination petition signatures through the online system and requires the system to verify elector eligibility and identity and transmit findings to the appropriate election officer. This has passed the House. It is waiting Senate committee. House Bill 2876, Public Bodies Executive Sessions, requires a public body to place any proposal to impose or increase a tax rate, assessment, or fee on an agenda item, requires any topic to be discussed in an executive session to be placed on an action agenda, and prohibits placing such topics on consent agendas. This has been signed by the governor. Senate Bill 1013, Public Employees, Merit and Hiring Practices, prohibits the state and political subdivisions from adopting hiring policies or practices that base employment decisions on anything other than applicants' merit and bars efforts to manipulate or influence workforce compensation by race, ethnicity, sex, or national origin, except as needed to ensure compliance with anti-discrimination laws. It authorizes the Arizona Attorney General, county attorneys, or any person to seek injunctive relief or damages for violations with prevailing parties entitled to the costs of reasonable attorney fees. This has passed the House and is waiting, or passed the Senate, is waiting a House third read. Seen this one lots of times. Senate Bill 1068, Disruption Educational Institution Concealed Weapon, requires community colleges to allow an individual with a concealed carry weapon permit to carry on campus. It has passed the House and it is waiting Senate committee. Senate Bill 1316, Arizona Rural Health Transformation Fund, establishes the Arizona Rural Health Transformation Fund to consist of monies received through the Federal Rural Health Transformation Program and designates the Arizona Healthcare Cost Containment System to administer the fund. Requires the administration to hold 3 public meetings each in each of northern, central, and southern regions of Arizona to receive input before spending any monies to submit an expenditure plan to the Joint Legislative Budget Committee for approval. This bill is one that we've been watching closely because it could delay money getting to community colleges for implementation of allied health programs. It has passed the Senate and is waiting House committee. Senate Bill 1423 just expands the Western Interstate Commission for Higher Education to another 10 years, and this is has to do with reciprocal state agreements for tuition. And then this is a new one that's come up on the legislative agenda, and it's Senate Bill 1497. And it requires a school district governing board that establishes a self-insurance program and employs at least 300 employees to obtain quotes for coverage and services from authorized service providers at least once every 3 years, and prohibits renewing coverage or services from a person that fails to provide required information. Requires each trust, which we are a member of the Cochise Combined Trust, insurer, third-party administrator, pharmacy benefit manager, or other supporting entity to provide specific enrollment claims, high-cost claimant, prescription drug rebate, fee, plan documentation, and census data to the school district at least 60 days before the end of the benefit program year. This, as passed the Senate, is waiting House committee. So I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions from the board? There's quite a bit there. No, they had over 2,000 bills this year.
Whole bunch.
Yeah.
There's one, not one, there's a House bill or Senate bill about tuition waiver.
For veterans, yes. Yeah.
Is that passed and signed?
It has passed the House, and it is in budget discussion, or budget committee.
I know they're holding, the governor's waiting for the legislature to approach with the budget proposals, and they're negotiating that, so she's not approving anything until all that starts. So I know that's kind of where they are right now. And so, thank you, Jackie, that's a lot. Okay, next we have the business affairs reports. Terry Quest, monthly budget report, and then the awards bids.
Governing Board President Lopez, Dr. Elliott, and esteemed board members, thank you again, once again, for this opportunity to share more about our financial operations. This is basically a monthly report that, in this case, covers a period of July up to the end of February, so it's cumulative. And this report, as you probably have seen, is in many ways nice and detailed. It provides a number of line graphs as well as bar graphs to visualize the results. It's compared generally to our budget and then prior year as well. In that, I don't really have a lot to bring to your attention out of the ordinary or any concerns. We're moving forward in a positive way, and as I say, we plan on being structurally balanced. Sorry, or stay within our limit as well. And then, of course, as well, we have the awarded bids for your attention to that. Other than that, I don't have anything to bring to you or concerns, or just that we're doing well, we're moving forward, and I appreciate all the work that everybody does. Being here just going on a little over a month now, I've been able to have a great opportunity to learn a lot and work with great people, and so I see great things happening. Thank you for your time.
Great, thank you. Any comments or questions from the board? Nope. Thank you so much, appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, and then number 11, wildly important goals and outcomes progress report, Dr. Michael Parker.
Good afternoon again. As part of our academic affairs report, we'd like to share with you the progress that we've made on the wildly important goal of increasing persistence at the college. And we have 3 divisions whose work is exemplary and has been quite impressive. And that is the Division of Science and Engineering, the Division of Social Behavioral Sciences, and the Division of Nursing. So if first of all we could have the Division of Sciences and Engineering, Wayne Pryor, come up, please.
Hi, so our wildly important goal is to increase retention rates, particularly from the first to the second semester. So we chose to do 3 broad actions to do that. One is to implement Caring Campus, which is the idea that you actually get to know your students. You make an effort to get involved in their lives and know something about them, know their names, and try to make them feel welcome. Also, we try to increase student engagement through lots of outreach activities. Things like connecting them to jobs in the labs, internship opportunities, science nights, field trips. And then third, we're trying to improve course material accessibility through the Ally training. So the Caring Campus group, as I said, we try to learn everybody's name if we can, be clear about what's expected from students, try to have meaningful moments with the various students. For example, you meet with the students individually. You mentor them about possible career pathways, things like that. And if a student's grades aren't doing very well, you reach out to them and don't just let them fail. So the Caring Campus examples, for example, one of our faculties formed a club trying to meet with students in Korean cultural area. Sometimes you bring back former students as examples of what people could achieve. For example, a medical school student came back to visit some of the biology classes. And we've created study groups where we pair advanced students with those needing help after a first exam. We try to do lots of engagement and outreach. For example, we recruit students for lab support positions. We have actual research projects through the CURES program, through the LRISE program, rather. We have a lot of student volunteers helping in our various science night activities. And we have fun field trips. For example, we just had a balloon launch. Students build packages, launch them into the stratosphere, and then recover them. And then they presented on it last weekend up at a NASA symposium. Upcoming, we have our Grand Canyon trip. We try to take students on interesting things that will get them attached to the college and want to come back for more. We try to do lots of outreach events. So here's our calendar of activities, things we participated in recently. For example, we had a hike. Lots of students came out for a hike. We do the Bunny Bash at Maricopa, had good student involvement. You can see a picture there. We had Science Night. We get involved in the Health, Art, and Culture event. And upcoming this week, I think, is Earth Day. And then on Saturday, I think, is Spring Fling up at SMC. So Science Night, I particularly enjoy because we get to play with the giant telescopes outside. And we also had other teachers set up microscopes and skulls, and a lot of student involvement. We had like 50 or 60 people came up for that event. Also, we're trying to do the accessibility. There's a program where you have to get all of your documents compliant with standards to help people who might be visually impaired to understand the material. For example, we add text to all the images. We have to add transcripts to movies and videos, proper headers in documents so that reader programs can deal with them. And all of our faculty have completed this course, and they're trying to raise their scores in this program. Currently, I think we've made it from 64% to 83%. We've just been told we have to have 100% by summer for some aspects of it, so that'll be a challenge coming up here. And one thing we checked was, how are we doing? We don't really know yet if all this stuff is working, but we're hoping to have numbers fairly soon. But just as a baseline, we checked whether our classes have high success rates. And our science classes overall have about a 77% pass rate. And so we've checked that out for a couple of years, and we'll see whether we're making any progress when we get our results here after graduation, and whether we're keeping those numbers or improving them on pass rates. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Pryor. And next, for the Division of Social and Behavioral Sciences, we have Professor Young and Professor Faycott.
Good afternoon, governing board members, board president, Dr. Elliott. I'm very excited to share about social and behavioral sciences on today. This first slide here just kind of gives you a snapshot of our division. We are a multidiscipline division. We have 10 disciplines which make up social and behavioral sciences. And we primarily offer general education courses to most students within the first year of attending here at CAC. So I want to give a shout out to all of the amazing faculty in our division. For our project this year, we have two wildly important goals that we are focused on. The first one is to reduce the cost of textbooks in foundational courses, so at the 100 level, by implementing open education resources. And our second goal was to create a survey to help identify barriers that keep students from persisting from fall to spring. So for our faculty, it was very important to understand the why when students stop attending CAC and what we could do to help with persistence. So I will share about the OER project and our scoreboard. We did identify 13 courses at the 100 level to be converted from traditional publisher textbooks to open education resources. Currently, we have completed 9 of those projects and implemented fully. We do have 2 that are in progress and 2 that we hope to launch in the fall. So I'm very excited to say that the faculty's hard work has paid off. It takes a lot of work to create an OER, to adopt an OER, to modify an OER. And so again, just a shout out to the incredible work of the faculty. Most importantly, I want to just share our number of saved cost savings to students, over $222,000 in savings for textbooks. And this is just an incredible number for us to share on today, and just really speaks to the testament of students that come and can't afford course materials, can't afford textbooks, and being able to be ready to go on the first day of classes. So Dr. Faye Kosh will share about our survey.
Hello. I was one of the several faculty who was really interested in the why. As a historian, I like to know the background, and I definitely wanted to get data that we could use to understand our students and what were keeping them from coming back to CAC, and especially to social and behavioral science courses. So I worked with 2 other faculty to develop a survey, and then we just mass distributed it as much as we could through our own course announcements. We had a QR code and flyer that we had on the campus monitors, and just like word of mouth, having other people reach out for us. And so we sent the survey out. It had 15 questions the first time around, and I think we got it down to 12 the second time. And you can see the responses. We were really excited to get 480 students to respond to anything. It's pretty crazy. We were very excited about that. With spring, we expected a little bit of a smaller number, just overall trends from fall to spring. And so we were then able to kind of look at multi-semester trends. And that's something we're really going to monitor going forward. I can briefly go over some of the results. One of our questions, for instance, was just trying to get more information about our student demographics. What do they identify as? What do they think of? And how are they approaching coming to college? And so you can see some of the options that they had there. And so a lot of students, of course, who it's their first semester in any college, others who had a little bit of experience from before, some who are on financial aid, some who are not. And those will be helpful to measure semester to semester if we can notice certain trends that students who are on financial aid need a bit more urging to register earlier, something like that. What are your plans for next semester? We asked this in both semesters and then can monitor how students are thinking about their return to campus. What we did on the second semester was then have an opportunity to kind of follow up with those responses and make sure that if the student was planning to return to CAC, that they already have their courses identified. They're already registered, that they know who their advisor is, hopefully take social and behavioral science courses, but we'll offer everybody. And then if they're graduating, do you know what you're gonna do next? If you're going to work, do you have that job lined up? If you're trying to transfer to a 4-year institution, is that already identified, or could we put you in touch with a transfer specialist here at CAC? What would make you more likely to return to CAC? We did this in both fall and spring, and you can see just kind of the rough scores here. We can't get into the granular details. We had other metrics that we tried to measure, and we'll be, again, trying to see those trends across different semesters and see maybe if affordability really starts to spike, that would be an indication that we could then reach out and try to offer, increased scholarships or put them in touch with financial aid at an earlier time, something like that. Textbooks options is something that we take very seriously in our division, and so we're monitoring that one just to make sure that students know that the textbooks are reduced in price from what they had been in previous semesters or previous years. And so we're hoping then to be able to expand this to other parts of the college and get buy-in, and we've already had good feedback from our advising team here at CAC, where we can put students in touch based on some of the responses that they give if they do need help registering for classes for the next semester. If they are interested in getting involved at CAC, whether they're on one campus or another, we put them in touch with Laura Shepard and student engagement. So we have ways of then following up and making sure those students are then being charted as persistent semester to semester. We also wanted to measure what plans of study that the students were interested in, and again, this is to help us identify if there are any specific trends going on that we can kind of be on top of. And so our first semester, we were doing the fields of study, and this one we got a little bit bigger and not just had the major that students identify with, and not all of them know what their major is, spoiler alert, but then where they're, like what they think that they're a part of. And so that's been an interesting metric. What do you like best about CAC? We had another question that was, would you recommend us? If we showed you what that graphic looks like, it's very difficult to understand. It has a net promoter score, so basically how many more positive responses than negative responses. It's not user-friendly, but we are measuring that metric across semesters to see. So far, it's been positive. More students are hoping to come back and have very nice things to say about us. But if that number starts to fail, then we can dig into the details and get more information that way as well. Would you like more information? This again is our opportunity then. I have the giant Excel sheet, and we can then reach out to people who made certain responses. We have an advisor, we have our division assistant, we have other people who and including our faculty from across the disciplines, who are ready based on their response as a major, or if they have a specific plan of study that if they did need follow-up, we know who to put them in touch with. And so again, just another way for us to be able to follow up with those students. Here was our kind of plan of action. So who do we follow up with? We have our division assistant combing through the details and knowing then based on certain numbers. So for instance, if a student gave us a 7 out of 10, we would then try to follow up with that student and be like, well, how do we get your number higher, or did you need more information in this place? The faculty in our different disciplines then reached out to any students who identified as their major, and so that's a smaller number than maybe necessary. And then the discipline lead, so I'm the history discipline lead, for instance, can follow up with those individual students. And then just, like I said, monitoring across semesters to see if there are any trends that we can be on top of. We also had our students in some of our courses give their feedback to the survey, and uniformly the students really appreciated just being asked. I think it's something that we can all at the college do a better job of in terms of soliciting student feedback, and the students seem very receptive to just being asked. They're the experts on their education journey, and I think it's a really untapped resource that we can be making better use of. So that was the survey.
Any questions?
Any questions for the board? It's amazing that number, 222,000 in savings. That's awesome. Yeah.
And finally, we have nursing, who's going to be presented by Professor Jocelyn. And Jocelyn, I'm sorry, I don't know your last name, but okay. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jocelyn Gnomes. I am the Director of Nursing, and we're thankful that we're able to present our WIG. Our WIG really is led by our faculty. I'm just here supporting them and sharing their story. So our team WIG is that by the spring of 2027, we want to contact 80% of first-time declared pre-nursing students via personalized phone call. One of the reasons that we decided to concentrate on the pre-nursing students, as you can well imagine, is that we hardly ever get new students in our nursing AAS, LPNR, and Bridge. And so we said, who can we target to have the most effect on the WIG? And so the faculty decided on the pre-nursing students. And each semester, we reach out, we get a list of pre-nursing students. We found out that we have between like 300 and 500 pre-nursing students. And then we kind of sort our Excel spreadsheet to determine who is the first-time declared pre-nursing students. Our goal is to encourage persistence in their pre-nursing coursework, provide support and resources per the Student Services Support page, or get them in contact with Andy's team if they need something that we are not aware of or can't provide, and then maintain interest in the nursing program. Right now, in our nursing program, as you might not be aware, is we're getting our second site started, so we're so excited about that. But we also know that students face challenges when they're trying to complete their prerequisites, their initial coursework, trying to get enrolled in their CNA courses. And so we really want to encourage them to kind of persevere through all of those obstacles and then apply for the nursing program. So we're really trying to maintain interest to support them and encourage them. The purpose of the initiative really was to improve persistence between first and second term pre-nursing students. And then also we wanted them to start meeting our nursing faculty, because part of the process for our nursing faculty is they wanted to share their story, right? They wanted to be able to talk to the student, tell them kind of what nursing is, and kind of share good anecdotes about nursing. And so we were excited that they wanted to have that opportunity and took that opportunity to call the students. Go ahead. We decided that this would have a very high impact and it was very low effort, but that in the end, we are hoping that we have positive outcomes, because we are tracking that we're meeting the percent that we set of the amount of students that we're contacting. After this is all done, we want to reach out to our team and determine if those students that we actually contacted, if they actually enrolled later on, 2 to 3 semesters later, in the nursing program. Sorry. So here's our target. We decided to use a futuristic syringe because we're kind of sci-fi. And so sorry that the graphics are a little bit off. But in our first term, which was spring of 2025, our goal was to contact 20% of the pre-nursing students that we had identified. For fall of 2025, we wanted to increase that to 40%. This semester, we were increasing that to 60%, and then next semester, we're going to contact 80% of the pre-nursing students that we've identified on our matrix. Go ahead. Okay. The purpose of this slide really is to talk about our process that we went through. So when we started brainstorming on what we wanted to do, we said, okay, how do we let the students know that they're about to be contacted? Because I know, it's just me, that if I see a number that I don't recognize, I'm probably going to ignore it. So the faculty, great brainstorming, said, hey, Professor Nelms, can you send out an email as the director letting them know that we're going to be contacting them? And I said, sure. So of course we went to AI, our friend, and we created a graphic that says, hi, a nursing faculty or staff member will be contacting you to kind of encourage you and support you. Please answer the phone. So that's the first thing we did. And then we came up with the script. So really the script was to help our faculty feel comfortable and kind of know what direction to go in when they were making their phone calls. So that was fun putting the script together. And then next, we also came up with the script for an email because we know that not all students are able to be contacted. In the process of reaching out to students, we found out that some were not enrolled at all in our college. We found out that some were kind of discouraged and kind of we need to encourage them to go ahead and try to get back into the CNA program. We found that some of the email addresses were kind of odd. Some of the phone numbers were disconnected. And this semester, which was very unique, there was a process where we called them and then they had to verify who we were. And then some of them wouldn't answer our call. It was very, very interesting. So then we had an email template that says, hi, I attempted to reach out. Here's some support services. If you'd like to call me, just email me back and we'll set up a time to speak with you. So that was also, I think, well done by our faculty because we created it, sent it out to the faculty. They decided on what to tweak, and then we adopted our email template. For our first semester that we did this, which was spring of 2025, we did reach our 20% target. For fall of 2025, we actually contacted all the students, which was about 30-ish students on the list. So every single student on that list was contacted. When we made our very first phone call, 32% of the students picked up the phone. We were very excited. We also did a second attempt. When we did that second attempt, 62% of the students picked up the phone. For the other students, we did have to send out an email. This time around, not as many students picked up the phone, but more students were contacted. So we contacted about 52 students this time around. On that first attempt, 7. On that second attempt, 3. But we did get responses back from our email. The reason why is some of the students needed support, like, I don't know how to register for the CNA. Of course. No worries, here's the information. I need support for registering for other classes. We forward that on to our advising team. So it was really, we think, a good process so far. One of the big things that we learned, next slide, so sorry, was that we really need to continue to use the campus phone number because one of the things that I talked to my faculty and staff about is safety. I said, please don't use your personal cell phone to contact students, right? Because you never know really the situation with the student. So I always redirect them back to using a campus phone or getting a Google phone number or something similar. And then also I redirect them towards the WIG. We meet monthly for 30 minutes online to keep the conversation targeted on the WIG. And so, we're going to keep that up. We think that worked well. And then, of course, next steps, as I said before, work with our institutional effectiveness team to determine the direct impact. So did that student that we reached out, encouraged, and contact, did they wind up registering for the nursing program? So I want to celebrate my team for a job well done. I didn't do it, they did it. I want to show you some of the pictures of my team. So it was a combination of our faculty and our staff. Our staff really helped in getting the data together, helping us format our Excel spreadsheet, helping us make sure that everyone was on target. Our faculty were the ones that made the calls, that did the charting on anything that they found when they talked with the student or emailed the student. So I really appreciate their time and effort in encouraging and supporting the student. Next slide. And then, of course, I always tell them it's time for vacation because we're all done with our WIG. And so we want them to enjoy themselves, and we thank you for listening to our presentation.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Such a great program. Let's see. So we're on call to the board. Okay, Dr. O'Dell. Member
Yes, I would like to take a moment and welcome Terry Quest and Dr. Michael. I met you once. I've never met you, but until lunch today. I have a lot of questions. So I will call you and we will talk, okay? Thank you so much and welcome.
Okay. Vice President Walker.
Yes, I just want to quote something from the Bible for you. It's always important to hear something like that. So I'm going to quote John 14:6, where Jesus was talking to Thomas, and he said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man goes to the Father but by me. And by man, I mean universal gender. It doesn't matter whether you're male or female. You have to go to God through Jesus Christ in order to make it to heaven. Thank you for your time and your effort. And if I've offended you, just come to me and admit it, and I'll forgive you.
Thank you, Jerry. I just want to say I attended the Advanced Technology and Skilled Trades breakfast the other day, and it was great because they recognized outstanding students and all the faculty that work in, making these students, helping them achieve greatness, and it's just amazing, all the different programs. So it was really enjoyable. I've seen everybody do well. I also attended the Phi Theta Kappa, which is the honor society for community colleges. It was really, really good. A lot of smart people in those classes. And so I just want to recognize Dr. Elliott. She received a very prestigious award, and that was a national award, correct? Yeah, so they recognized her there for that. And it was really good. The other thing, we had a career expo last week. I think I talked to Andrew Clegg, and we had over 200 students from 4 high schools. So that's really, really good. And I want to thank all the, of course, all the people that helped on staff and made that successful. It's really important for the young people. With that, our next meeting is May 19th, the Signal Peak campus here. So I now declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you. Thank you all for being here.